Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you are all doing well. Welcome to Myles Dyer Live, where every Wednesday we hang out here to talk about all sorts, from the fun to the serious. And I will forever be saying, oh, I need to change that intro, but we're going to stick with it, and we're going to keep sticking with it for as long as needs be. But yeah, I hope you're all doing good. It is Wednesday, the 15th of January, 2025. Had to think about that. We're in 2025 now, and I just want to say a massive apologies for not being on last week. I was absolutely wiped out last week. My energy levels were through the floor. Wasn't feeling great, and it was just one of those moments. I thought, you know what, gonna take the evening off, and so I did. Chilled, switched off, relaxed, got some good sleep, and definitely felt better for it. And I'm still not 100% back. But I do know that sometimes when getting back into the swing of things, it's very easy to stay completely switched off, and then you don't get into that flow again. And so I was very, very keen to do a show. But today's show is going to be very low key for all the reasons that are going to be obvious. I was actually going to be joined by my good colleague and friend Eric. But unfortunately, he had just got back from CES, and lots of people that went to CES. And for those that don't know what CES is, it is the massive electronics showcase. And what does C stand for in CES? I know it's electronics showcase, but what does C stand for? C stands for... See if you can beat me to it. Consumer. And it's the Consumer Electronics Show. That's what it is. So CES happened, and a lot of people that I know that went there got very, very sick. And I spoke to Eric on Monday, and I was like, dude, let's cancel Wednesday, rest. And he was like, no, I'll be all right. And then yesterday he cancelled, and I was like, yeah, good shout, because taking care of yourself is important. Rest is important. And I actually told him that I was still feeling pretty low energy, and that this was going to be quite a low-key show. So, yeah, that is my low-energy start to the show. But I want to say it's really, really nice to be back and to see so many familiar faces in the chat. So hello to all of you. We got Chris in the Purple House. We got Mojo. We got Chaos. Good to see you. We've got Vargelsoft. We got David VR. We've even got me in the chat. But yeah. David says, what is the name of that Quest bowling game that you posted the short of? So funnily enough, I actually have the video queued up because I wanted to talk about it at the start of it. But before I do, just a little bit of housekeeping. There is no puzzle today. This will be coming with the theme of the show of being stripped back. Normally I have a puzzle running in the background of the thumbnail of this video. I don't have that set up today just because I was like, you know what? Let's just strip it back. Let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about that for today. But there are some other things I want to talk about, including the fact that if you do like the music that you hear at the start, you can check out Myles Dyer Live on Spotify. It is there. All the music that you hear, you can find there. If you like all the people in the chat, Empathy Arcade, our Discord, come on over. It's always wonderful. Lots and lots of different conversations happening there. You can, of course, support the show by becoming a member. For those that don't know what it is, for the price of a few dollars a month, you get a badge next to your name and you unlock some emojis, and it's just a way of helping me out with the show. I also have some merchandise, questforempathy.com, shirts, mugs, everything. I've even got one right now that I'll show you just in a moment. But yeah, and I also do Let's Plays, and I've taken a break from that the past week, although I have been playing a lot of VR. But just for the sake of playing VR, which has been absolutely wonderful. But tomorrow there is a game I'm super excited for playing. I've had it for weeks and I've stayed away from it because I want my first impression to be with you. And that is, of course, Arcanage, which I've heard nothing but amazing things of. And talking about the mug, I think this is one of the only ones in the world. Got to drink from a Myles Dyer Live mug, right? And as Mojo says, like the smash button, people. Join our awesome Discord and check out the cracking playlist too. Love it, love it, love it. But yeah, so today we're going to be talking about saying no. Because even though I'm someone who does not adhere to New Year's resolutions. I'm a big believer in the fact that every day is another chance to make a difference in your life, the lives of others, and the world as a whole. I do find that going into the new year can allow you opportunities to reflect and think about what you want to do moving forward. And for me, one of my ambitions for this year is just learning to say no. And I want to say a lot on it right now, but I'm going to wait until we talk about the main topic. And I'm sure that this is something a lot of people can relate to, because we all like to be helpful. We all like to commit to things, but often we do it at our detriment for our health, our well-being. And it means that in the long run, the things that we say yes to, we can't actually fulfill those roles or needs as best as we can. So it's about being efficient, being useful, which is a common theme when we talk about self-compassion. And in the context of compassion-focused therapy, it's all about being useful. And that means, you can't pour from an empty cup, and you need to take good care of yourself so you can then take care of other people. Chaos says no means yes. Well, no is an interesting thing, I have to say, when it comes to a lot of projects and stuff like that, because it's very easy to say, yeah, I'll say no. But when you actually come to it, you're just like, but it's only a quick thing I could help with, do this and that. And then before you know it, you've been distracted away from your core goals. And that can be quite difficult. So, yeah, we'll be talking all about that. But going back to that question that I was asked about the bowling game on Quest that I showed. For those that haven't seen it, let me just pull up the video. Check this out. So I was at my parents' house, and what you're about to see, for those that don't know yet, my parents do have an American jukebox and a disco ball in their hallway. But this game is called Home Sports, and it's by Resolution Games. And what I like, firstly, I like mixed reality. And for those that aren't familiar, mixed reality is basically where you wear a VR headset or a mixed reality headset, and it creates a virtual world, but in your actual space. So you're not completely closed off. You can actually see around you. And so I showed the example before, where you can turn your windows into portholes looking out into an ocean, so you feel like you're in an aquarium, which is really cool. There's a newer one called Starship Home, where you turn your living room or wherever you are into a spaceship, and there's a bit where you press a button and you blast off into space, and you're looking out your room and you can see yourself blasting off into space, which is really, really great. But for me, I've always been interested in the mixed reality that allows you to have shared mixed reality. So you'll see this where there might be people like in a field that are playing a game like laser tag. So they're in mixed reality, and whereas in like mixed reality multiplayers often are where you're in mixed reality, someone else is in mixed reality in two separate places. This is where, well, no, you're both in the same space. And so what you're about to watch here is me playing a bowling game with my mum, and I'm recording on my VR headset. She's wearing her own VR headset. I bought my parents a Quest 3 for Christmas, and this is just amazing. Check it out. There's a bit of flickering, and it's just because it's against the stairs, not a flat surface. But, like, who has the space for a full bowling alley? And there we go. That's it. But, like, I just love that that's the angle. Now, the giveaways you'll see is with mixed reality, and obviously I think AI will solve this, is like, well, look here. The whatever is in mixed reality will always go in front of everything else. So, like, look at the bowling ball. You'd expect it, if it was real, to go behind my mum, but the ball you can still see there. And it's the same that when I walk around, I mean, this is amazing, just seeing the score up there. But as I walk around my mum, you can see that the sort of, look, see, that's in front of her now, even though it looked behind, but then it's in front. And I'm really curious to see how that improves over time when it comes to virtual reality. But yeah, I'll just show you the clip one more time, because it is just so cool how it works. And the haptics are great.
Your turn.
I mean, that's not how you throw a bowling ball, but I was happy with it. I was happy with it. But yeah, it's really great. So yeah, it's called Home Sports. There's another game called Party Something, which I think is on Quest Plus, which is, you know, the monthly subscription you play. But the Home Sports, what's really great with it, and actually, do you know what? I'll see if I can pick up a trailer of it, because yeah, let's have a look at this launch trailer. Yeah, check this out. Because you'll see like what it actually does. I've actually not seen this trailer, so hopefully it's a good representation of it. I assume it will be. But check this out. There's going to be no sound, unfortunately, so I'll just talk about it. But yeah, so you can play everything from like badminton, hockey. So what you're seeing there, actually, let me go through it one at a time. So you can play in the same space. So if you're both together, you can map out the area. I mean, I love all these commercials, and it's like, who has living rooms this size? I mean, if you're in America, probably, but not a lot of places. But yeah, like here, like what you saw there is when... Where was it? Here. When you're playing with someone else online, so like I was bowling with my dad, I was at my home, he was at his home, it will create like a virtual place that it will teleport you into. But yeah, so like this, playing badminton, you're playing like through a screen, and it works really, really well. I was playing pickleball, I think it was called. I haven't done much of the hockey one yet. This is it, pickleball. This is really good fun. The haptics feel so great on that. And then the mini golf is interesting as well. But yeah, it's really, really smart. Really, really good fun. So yeah, Home Sports is the game by Resolution Games. Really, really great. So yeah, if anyone's got Quest, by the way, feel free to follow me. It will come as no surprise that my username on there is Myles Dyer. And it always says when I'm online, and you can always join me for a game of Home Sports if I'm about. So yeah, that would be great. But I'm looking forward to it in the summer, because also when you create the area, you can choose what size it is. So I assume the biggest one, you could do a proper like badminton area. So I'm really excited to doing that when the weather improves. So we will have to wait and see. But yeah, has anyone done much mixed reality? Mixed reality is just so great. I do wish that PlayStation did mixed reality stuff. I know that mixed reality, a part of it is like being tethered to a cable can cause issues, but I still think you can do mixed reality experiences. It'd be really, really good. Let me get some background music. That's better. So yeah, Home Sports. And then the other one is called... I think it's... What's it called? There's like a party game that's mixed reality party. What's it called? Party Versus. That's what it's called. So I was playing it in the same space as my dad, and I realised that was a mistake. Do they not have a trailer? Oh no, they do. They do have it here. Check this out. So again, don't have sound. But look, so you play with people online, so you can play like hot potato. And I just love, I think this is where it gets really inventive. And I think this is on Quest Plus, so if you have it, you can play it for free. I might actually play some of this after the live stream, if anyone has Quest and wants to get involved. Could be a lot of fun. Yeah, I've actually not... I've played the balloon popping one, but me and my dad were almost running into each other, and I was like, this is not a good idea. Let's stop this right now. So yeah, really just super cool. Mixed reality. I know some people don't dig it at all. I think it's amazing. I really, really love it. And I think it's actually a gateway drug for full VR for a lot of people, if I was to describe it as that. So super, super cool. Ace is getting the practice in on the no. So yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, people. Well, let's kick off today's topic, which is all about saying no. Although, actually, before I get to that, should I do that? So, does anyone know what is significant about next Monday? Now, I only learned this week that it is a UK thing. All my American colleagues had not heard about it, and I thought, okay, it's interesting that we're leading the way with something for a change. But then again, the UK normally would come up with something like this. Does anyone know what next Monday is? And Callie, this is absolutely right when it comes to mixed reality. So the example I'd give was during the pandemic. This was VR, not mixed reality, but it would count the same. I was playing table tennis with someone in another country during the pandemic. Now, I wouldn't be able to fit a table tennis table in my living room. Never mind play table tennis against someone. And there I was, standing in my living room, playing table tennis against someone, and it was absolutely incredible. Yeah, it was an amazing experience. Is it Martin Luther King Day? Oh, okay. So Monday is Martin Luther King Day. Is it always the 20th, right? Or is it actually the Monday? Is it the 20th? No, it is the third month. Okay, interesting. It's the third Monday of January every year. Okay, so it is the same as what is done in the UK. So in the UK, it's called Blue Monday. Blue Monday is an annual day that is often regarded as the most depressing day of the year. It typically falls on the third Monday in January and is associated with feelings of sadness, low motivation, and a lack of energy. While the concept of Blue Monday has been criticised for its lack of scientific validity, it has become a day for promoting mental health awareness and self-care. And firstly, can I just say, massive thank you, Mojo. Too kind. Glad you got some good rest and take it easy getting back into the Let's Plays. Never say no when your body says yes to rest. I like that. That's a good slogan. Thank you, Mojo. Very, very kind of you. Really, really appreciate that. Yes. No, it is good to be back. Some people said Blue Monday and Trump Day. Actually, isn't the 20th? Is the inauguration on the 20th? Is that what it is as well? Is it the 20th? Or is the inauguration just before the first day in office? No, that is when they're sworn in, right? Okay, cool. So yeah, so the new president gets sworn in. So yeah, Blue Monday is a day to acknowledge and address feelings of sadness and depression that some individuals may experience, especially during the winter months. It's for a few reasons. One of the reasons they say is because you get paid in December and you've had Christmas, so you've been spending all the money on gifts and stuff like that. And then January is quite a long month. And so there's a lot of that feeling after the buzz of Christmas, back to work, all this sort of stuff. Obviously the colder weather, all these things, it can really build up on you. So I do like the history of it, which I'll just read here. So it was first introduced in 2005 as part of a marketing campaign for a travel company. The formula used to calculate the date takes into account various factors such as weather, debt, time since Christmas, and time since failing New Year's resolutions. While the scientific validity of Blue Monday is being questioned, it has led to increased awareness. So it's as we've said already. So yeah, It's cool. So I just wanted to have that as a bit of backdrop to what we're talking about today, which is learning to say no. So I just want to start off with a general thing in the chat about how often, on a scale of like 1 to 10, 1 being never and 10 being all the time, how often do you say yes to things you don't want to do? I'm having a think about it myself, actually. How often do you say yes to things that you don't want to do? Because for me, when I'm thinking about this question when I was prepping for the show, I mean, there's a difference from not wanting to do it and like not having to do it. I would say I'm pretty down the middle. Maybe it's not about when you want to, when you know you shouldn't. People say every single day. Yeah, I mean, for me, it becomes a question of like, why do we have so much difficulty saying no? And I'd love you all to share your thoughts in the chat. I'll save them and bring them up. And while you express why saying no can be difficult, I'll sort of give my feelings on it, which is saying no could relate to a few things, right? There's saying no to invitations. I have no issue with saying no to like social events and stuff like that. I'll always be upfront, which is no, I just need to rest and stay in. But some people are dragged into it because of the fear of missing out. The fear of missing out events. They feel they have to be everywhere. Because if you don't go somewhere and it's your group of friends and they start posting stuff online, you'll see them having a good time. You're like, oh, that should have been me. This is great as well. Yeah, it's the social fear to fall out of groups as well. Like if you don't engage, what if you say no this time, they might not invite you next time. So you have to keep saying yes so they can rely on you to turning up. That can be very difficult as well. Mojo says, in my work, I say it a lot because I have a lot of jobs to do and then they add on more jobs, so not fun at all. Yeah, so the job piece, and hey, Shapeshifter, good to have you here. I think the other piece is like overcommitment. Saying, you know that saying like death by 1,000 cuts? I think it can be said when it comes to saying yes. Often the yeses we say, it's just a quick yes there or a quick yes there. And it just builds up more and more. Where I work, we have a productivity system. There's a lot you can use, like there's one beginning with A that I used to use. Asara, was it? I think it was. You can use stuff like ClickUp. There's a lot of these productivity apps with tasks, and we use one at our work. And so for me, a good way of doing it is when I'm asked to do something. Well, actually, no, this could be a problem. So I was going to say, the good thing about it is I could be asked to do something and I can just say, like, no, like I can't do it now, but set me the task. But then what you're doing actually is you're sort of putting yourself in debt to saying yes later down the line. I was watching a video the other day of someone giving like financial advice, like tips they've learned throughout their life. And a lot of them were just helpful reminders. And one of them was the fact that like never buy anything that you can't buy in cash, as in like never go in debt. Obviously easier said than done. Getting a mortgage for a house is definitely an exclusion point. But that idea of like never buying anything you can't afford now in cash. And never going in debt. And so hearing about that and then talking about this now, I realised that if there's something you should say no to, but you feel like you can say yes because you can like say put it as a task, you're actually like doing time debt, because what you're doing is I don't have time to do it now, but I'm gonna have to make time for it later down the line. And that's easier said than done, right? So yeah, I definitely think that overcommitment is easy. The death by 1,000 cuts. We all want, well, I say we all do. That's taken for granted. A lot of us want to be helpful, right? A lot of us want to do what we can, and we don't want to disappoint people or let people down. but also we need to make sure we're always fully functioning and that we're doing our best work. Especially, again, going into a professional sphere. If you have people in specialised roles, and this can apply to like non-work, if you have people that are very good at specific things and they're all helping each other with things outside their specialties, you then end up having lots of jobs being done not by the specialties because people are so burnt out doing other things as well. Callie says people pleasing. And I do agree with the people pleasing thing. I think people pleasing, I don't know, when I hear the word people pleasing, I think of it in a very cynical way, in terms of like people pleasers are people that are doing it not because they believe in the people, but they just wanna get cred. Do you know what I mean? But I know what you mean. You're meaning like we like to make sure other people are clear. Smash says it's hard to say no when someone asks for help. This is it. And by the way, people pleasing tendencies was something that I had on my list. So if someone asks for help, and we should probably be clear here, if someone needs help with something that's like, you know, a medical emergency, we should probably not say no to that. But how do we recognise when it is important to push ourselves? Because there are times we should do it, right? Galanio says, it bothers me if I think people may be mad that I say no, even if I may not necessarily want to. I want to please everyone. So for me, it's about building context with other people, and this is like one of my top tips. So I have a book here that I often pull down to like make this exact point. You can see my boxes there, I apologise, my stripy boxes. So there's this book here that I've talked about before called 4,000 Weeks, Time Management for Mortals by Oliver Burkeman, who I used to work with actually at The Guardian. 4,000 weeks is the average lifespan of a human. I know that's so depressing, right? But in the opening section of the book, he discusses, and it's actually a big part of the book as a whole, but talks about the need for being productive. We all want to be productive, right? Productivity is about making the most out of life. We don't want anything to go to waste. So there are two things I'm going to talk about here. Firstly, we need it in our culture to be understood that not working or saying no and resting doesn't have to be sleeping. It could literally be going for a walk. It could be playing a computer game. It could be reading, doing a puzzle. Resting in any way is being productive because it's about playing the long run. And by the way, I'm not saying this as an expert, and this is why I'm focusing on it this year. I fail at this many, many times. So that's the one point. But the second part that he talks about that I find is really interesting is, I don't know what your inbox is like when it comes to emails. My emails are constantly rammed. And there's that saying, isn't there, or that term about how you should deal with your emails. And it's like, I can't remember what the exact term was, but it's the whole thing about like getting it to zero. Inbox zero. So I'm actually going to read an extract here, if you don't mind me doing so. So I'm just going to get the right context. Here we go. I'll read you this bit, right? So he says, this is the maddening truth about time, which most advice on managing it seems to miss. It's like an obstreperous toddler. The more you struggle to control it, to make it conform to your agenda, the further it slips from your control. Consider all the technology intended to help us gain the upper hand over time by any sane logic. In a world with dishwashers, microwaves, and jet engines, time ought to feel more expansive and abundant thanks to all the hours freed up. But this is nobody's actual experience. Instead, life accelerates and everyone grows more impatient. It's somehow vastly more aggravating to wait 2 minutes for the microwave than 2 hours for the oven, or 10 seconds for a slow-loading web page versus 3 days to receive the same information by post. Now, this is the bit I wanted to get to, but I just wanted to have that preamble. He writes, the same self-defeating pattern applies to many of our attempts to become more productive at work. A few years ago, drowning in emails, I successfully implemented the system known as Inbox Zero. But I soon discovered that when you get tremendously efficient at answering emails, all that happens is that you get much more email. Feeling busier thanks to all that email, I bought Getting Things Done by that time management guru, David Allen, lured by his promise that it is possible for a person to have an overwhelming number of things to do and still function productively with a clear head, and what the martial artists call a mind like water. But I failed to appreciate Allen's deeper implication that there will always be too much to do, and instead set about attempting to get an impossible amount done. In fact, I did get better at racing through my to-do list, only to find that greater volumes of work magically started to appear. Actually, it's not magic, it's simple psychology plus capitalism. So the reason I read that is the idea that by exerting yourself, you feel that you're being more useful. And so, if you start replying to all your emails quickly, that then means you've got all those emails that are probably going to get responded to and then come back your way. And if you're someone that exerts yourself and makes yourself readily available at all times, you create the impression that you are able to operate at that level. If it becomes the norm, that becomes the new normal in which people treat you. So people will start asking you for more. Not because they're trying to push their luck, but because they're like, well, every time I've asked Myles to help out with this, he's been able to. Not, I'm going to try and push my luck more, but, he's been available, so I know I can rely on him because he's good at helping me when I need help. And so that's something we've always got to think about, is the reason you set boundaries is so you create your normal. You create your expectations on yourself, but also among other people. Because if we don't respect our own time and our own energy, then we have no right to expect other people to respect ours. And so that balance is super, super important. Hopefully that made a lot of sense. I'm just going to read some comments now, but I'm really glad that we tackled that. Forgive me if I'm catching up on a lot here. Callie says, volunteering too much can happen too much too. I took on a lot of times at volunteering and extracurricular activities at work, and some bosses recognise it, but others don't. I agree with this. Most people, even if it's not most people, decent people will be fine with you saying no as long as you communicate the reason. And the reason doesn't have to be a full extension. It could just be, I don't have the time right now, I have other priorities, or I'm not feeling it right now. 4,000 is not a lot, Trixie. What do you mean? Are we talking about emails? I can't say no to my phone. I need to turn it off sometimes. Yeah, the focus thing can be really, really helpful. I only use the focus mode when I'm sleeping. But for me, and actually that gets to another bit of technology. I used to turn off on a lot of apps the read notification because I didn't want to give people unnecessary anxiety that they send me a message, it pops up, I see it. I always wonder sometimes, if it pops up on my desk, because I have this little holder for my phone. If it pops up and I'm looking at it and it's done the face unlock and I can see the notification, I don't know if it tells people it's red, and they might see it and then worry, why have you not got back to me and stuff like that. That's sort of another aspect of saying yes or being, it's about availability, isn't it? And I think technology does that. It fills in a lot of gaps of availability. We're always contactable now. Sorry, we're talking about 4,000 weeks. Sorry, I'm so slow. Callie says 4,000 weeks is only 76 years. So it gets worrying, especially after 38. Duh. I turned 38 in a month. A month on Friday. Oh my goodness. Wow, that's crazy. I'm lit. Oh, man. And do you know what's scary about that? Is when you're at the halfway point. You know when you go on a holiday, on vacation? When you're halfway through the vacation, the second half always goes quicker. Fuck. Just catching up with comments. Chris says, I'm often wiped out, but with friends, sometimes I won't get another opportunity to socialise. This is it. This is the fear of missing out isn't necessarily about that individual moment. It can also be about the future ones. Like, what if I don't get to see him again after that? What if it's not for ages? That can be tough. 38 is the new 20. I mean, 30s are the best years I've found so far, and I can imagine they only get better. And the reason I say that, I've mentioned it before, is because when you turn 20, you're still not an adult. Like, you're still learning it. 30s is the first decade where you have a real sense of life. Doesn't mean you've got everything together. I definitely was still getting my life together. In my early 30s, I was dealing with a lot of issues in my life. Because it was my mid to late 20s when I was dealing with my head injury and stuff. And I do think that actually stunted my maturity by a good, 7 years. And yeah, just going to download my mind onto a computer and live forever. So, who knows? Yeah. So, a few questions to end this topic then. And Dave, this is true. What was the saying I heard the other day? It was something like time can't buy you more health, but health can buy you more time. I've probably butchered it. But yeah. So the question I have is, how can we reframe no as a positive rather than a negative response? Because I think that's the only reason people worry about saying no, is no being seen as a negative. And perception is everything, because when we often talk about mindfulness and, mental health, I think there's a really toxic understanding in modern Western culture that sad is bad, happy is good. And of course, it's nicer to feel happy. Sad isn't a pleasant experience. And we should obviously strive to create a society and living conditions and individual trajectories that lends itself to as little amounts of suffering as possible. But being sad is a good part of life. It means you missed someone. Grief is the price we pay for love. Those are always really, really important. And I think it's the same with no. No is seen as a negative because no is often equated to rejection or, hey, Mr. Task, good to see you here. Hope you're doing good, dude. Good to see you here indeed. Dude, I'll have to get you to come on the show sometime to talk about all the magic that you do. Mr. Task does some pretty awesome stuff when it comes to putting together goodie bags, should I say. But I'll save that for another time. Walked into some heavy stuff. We're talking about saying no. Mr. Tass, how good are you at saying no? How good are you saying no? This is what we're talking about here. But yeah, so saying no is often there's a negative connotation to it. But I think by explaining why you can't do something at work, it doesn't have to be negative. It can just be no, I hear you. I can see what you do. It could even be, I can't do it, but here's something you can do, point them in the right direction. Absolute rubbish, as you would say. I do not say rubbish. I do say rubbish sometimes. Ren says, well, and good to see you here, my friend. Well, if you have pets or kids, or both, You get used to saying no for their protection and benefit. When you are gentle on yourself, you learn that no also for your own protection. That's such a great point. That is such a great point. Yeah, because no is boundaries. And pets and kids definitely need boundaries. And it goes back to the expectation thing. If you're always saying yes, they're going to ask for more of it. Can I have some candy? Yeah. Okay. Then they can keep asking if you keep saying yes. We are all just programmed that way. See, this is interesting. So Mr. Taz says, I am a people pleaser. I've always self-sacrificed to help others. Partly can't help myself is what it is. Dude, but this is it. This relates to a lot, and I relate to it a lot as well. And it's this saying of like, you can't pour from an empty cup. So I am going to mention something now that most people that tune in regularly hear me talk about so much, which is the compassionate mind. And by the way, I'm not sponsored by Professor Paul Gilbert. I've interviewed him. I'd love to get him on my show again, but I have literally bought about 20 copies of this book for various friends. The compassionate mind. But compassion, the reason I go on about it, not only because his line of therapy completely transformed me, better than CBT, regular counselling, all that sort of stuff, but there was a fundamental aspect of compassion. Being kind is often seen as a softness, being nice, being soft, but actually there's a real fierceness and strength to it. The firefighter analogy, I mean, my goodness, think about last week, and much love to all my friends who've been, and people out there that have been dealing with the fires. But when a firefighter goes into a burning building to save someone, that is an act of compassion, but that's not soft or weak, that is true strength. And so compassion, self-compassion, is one of two things. It's having the strength to stand up into a world that has a lot of pain and suffering, has a lot of needs and things that need sorting. But it also, and this is where it comes to the no section, it's fundamentally about becoming useful. And what does that mean? And again, I've said this many, many times before. You could be someone that sees someone drowning in a river, and you could say to have self-compassion would be to jump in after them and save them. But let's say you don't know how to swim. You could have all the empathy you want for that person and dive in to try and save them. But if you can't swim, and to be honest, diving into a river is a bad example, because usually even if you can swim, you're going to be in a lot of trouble anyway. But the idea is that now you've got two people, there's now more suffering in the world. And so learning skills are really important, becoming useful. So it's not always about diving in at other people. It's about thinking, how can I be most effective? And when you look at the bigger picture, it's like what I'm being asked to do right now, I don't have to say yes to. But if I say no, there are other ways that I can be. I mean, that's what society is. There's definitely this prevalence happening in society at the moment where people seem to feel like they're experts. I've just watched Bill Burr on Jimmy Kimmel Live. Bill Burr, I love. Just giving a rant about all the fire experts on the internet. He was like, all the people that did a good job in LA dealing with the fires, and then you've got all these people online that are just like, you know, not even thinking about stuff. And we just live in a society now where people don't appreciate. I mean, I'm taking a step back here, but I'll just give you another example. There was all these issues post-Brexit in the UK where all the like just-in-time deliveries from Europe were being held up at the border. And people are like, oh, we don't need Europe for our sandwiches or stuff like this, or we don't need, you know, border checks or all this sort of stuff. And this is just people that have never dealt with deliveries. And then you have all these drivers that have like 20, 30 years experience. You know, we tend to forget, like, people that work in these industries, they're not just like experts. They've lived and breathed. They have literally worked in these industries their entire life. They probably know it a bit better than you do, and that is what society is. Society is the amalgamation of everyone, and so we need to think about when can we say yes and when can we say no. And when we say no, we can just say, can't do it because I don't have time, don't have energy. And you don't have to say this, but it could be, I can't come to this one. I'd like to, I'm just not feeling it if it's a social event, but I'd love to come to the next one, so please let me know. Just communicating can help with these kind of things. Just having a look in the chat. Mr. Tass saying, my helping is also partly selfish. Personal happiness. Dude, I did a YouTube video about 10 years about this, which was called, like, being selfless is not selfish. And it's the idea that, and actually this comes down to, like, our empathy and mirror neurons. But, like, empathy means that we feel, when we help someone and they do well, when we give to charity, we feel good. That's not a bad thing. That's just, like, a biological survival instinct for our species. We should feel good when we help other people. Like, that's a good thing to be rewarded with. So I would say definitely swing with that. Right. Yeah, candy. When I said candy, I know. Sounded like such an American. Where did the word rubbish come from? Don't know. Hey, Killer, it's good to see you here. Yeah, much love to everyone in LA. Just want to say that again. Lots of love in the chat as well. It's been, I think it was actually happening last Wednesday, wasn't it? Wasn't that when it kicked off? It was pretty wild. Mason is messy, says, just taking a bit of a detour here. Thanks for being live. I'm staying up because of the rumoured Switch 2 announcement tomorrow. So if it is, they will tell us tonight. I didn't know that. I mean, I knew about the Switch 2 rumours, or the, like, pretty much confirmed. But, yeah. Rubbish is trash. So they're called, like, rubbish bins, yeah, as you say. Like, the garbage man, although you'd call it garbage people now, probably. I love all the male hangovers of, like, phrases. Yeah, they were called bin men over here. Bin men. Yeah. But yeah, that's rubbish. You'd say it's trash. That's trash. Oh yeah, it was on Tuesday it started. Yeah. By the way, talking about random stuff, just because we're getting towards the end of the show now. I got this. Actually, I pre-ordered this because I like Helldivers, and I'm always thinking about stuff in my background. Although the amount of free stuff I'm getting, it's getting pretty remarkable. But I got this. I think I showed it last time. This box is terrible though, because you just, like, the reflections. There's just, I mean, it's looking actually better on this camera. But yeah, Helldivers I absolutely love, and I think I've actually put it in the wrong way, have I? Or maybe not. But it is official licensed product. See, I put it in and now I'm not going to be able to get it out. Here it is. So we got it here. So I haven't taken out the box yet. Now I feel like it's a bit, oh, do you know what? I haven't actually taken it. I've taken it out of that now. I've not taken it out of that box. Oh my goodness. It's like Russian dolls. Okay, so that's come off now. And now I've got this. There we go. I had it on the wrong way. It's very cool, right? But why is it number 0? Is that for, like, the Helldiver thing? Because I know this isn't Pop Toys, or whatever it's called. Funko Pop. Oh, yeah, it's the Helldivers collection, so it's number 0 of it. So, yeah, I don't know, because I feel like I've taken that box off now. Because, you know, they say you shouldn't unbox them. Like, what should I put in the background? Should I have it, like, in the box like this? Or should I take it out and have it as the figurine, like, somewhere in the background? I'm just curious to know what you think. I mean, I could have it like that. I don't know. I can't decide. Life is full of difficult decisions, people. Difficult decisions. You hope the movie is good. Yeah, Helldiver's getting a movie. I mean, I'm super hyped that Horizon Zero Dawn is getting a movie, because it was originally to get a TV show, and I thought, a TV show? You're going to need huge budget for that, for it to look any good. So a movie, I think, is definitely better suited. But yeah. I'm asking the real questions. What can I say? Always asking the real questions. So after this show, I need to actually check in with work because I've still got a few outstanding things I need to check. Who in the chat has a quest? Who has met a quest in the chat? Just, for easiness, just type the number 3 if you have a quest. Yeah, Horizon would be epic if they did, right? Have I actually got my meta quest image? Awesome, right? Let me okay, someone can help me out here because I'm still learning about this. Okay, we got some. Okay, right. So if anyone's got this party game, which is on Quest Plus, let's just get a group of us next to play it. Okay, so look, here's my character, right? Can I just ask something? What? Oh, is it not going to let me go high? Okay, you see at the bottom here, it says quests. What does that actually mean? What does quest mean? Is that like in Horizon worlds, like the different quests you do? I thought it was number of headsets. And now as it's going up, I'm like, okay, I haven't synced to 34 different headsets. Yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, you add me, guys. Myles Dyer. Just add me on there now. Dude, I heard that they were removing the achievements, which I mean, I'm pretty new to the metaverse. But like as a massive PlayStation player, trophies are really important. And actually, we could end on this actually. Let me just load up PSN profiles. I shouldn't advertise this because it's going to make people want to overtake me. But trophies, those that don't know in gaming, on PlayStation in particular, like Xbox has them, I assume Switch has them, right? But when you play computer games, they tend to have like challenges, so it could be like complete the game and stuff, and depending on the platform, they have different ways of doing it. So on PlayStation, they have like bronze trophies for like the easy ones, silver, gold, and then for the games that do it right, if you get all the trophies for the game, you get a platinum trophy. And different trophies are worth different points. So looking here, this is my profile. And I mean, I'm in the UK, I'm 1,800 and something. But in VR, which is the important one, in VR in the world, I am currently number 24. Oh, I am just behind AJ, God Cannon. Here he is. God Cannon's at 23, and I'm at 24. So, yeah. AJ, man. I'm catching up, dude. Catching up. Yeah, pretty close there. But in the UK, how do I find... Oh, here it is. United Kingdom. Oh, number 4. Oh, I'm covering it on the side, but yeah, I'm number 4. Number 4 in the UK for trophies on VR games. So I'm going to keep building this up. This is a fun little hobby to have. But anyway, I think MetaQuest should lean into it more. I hear that they've been sort of stepping away from it, which has been quite remarkable. But that's just an observation I've had. And can we just say, Mojo, you need to be very responsible with your money. I don't want you spending too much money, even though I adore you for it. Mojo gifted 5 Myles Dyer membership. So I want to say a massive congrats to Karina. Welcome back to membership. Good to have you here. We got BR. We got Left Control Gaming. Welcome. We got GameCat Behemoth. And we got No Underground Symbiote. Good to have you here. Thank you. Appreciate the support, people. Really appreciate it. Yeah, absolute huge generosity from Mojo. Really appreciate it. I can't say no, though. There's no way for me to refund them. Oh, well, maybe there is, actually. I'm getting there. Like, I've not really been doing much trophy hunting stuff because I've just been diving in so many different games, but I definitely want to. But yeah. Party Versus. Yeah, Party Versus is the game. Isn't it on Quest Plus? I think so. Oh, Mr. Tass. Wait, I did the cheers. Okay, it's too quiet. Let me just turn that off and then... There we go. Mr. Tass. Very, very, very kind. Yasafash, welcome. Patrick Bateman. Love that icon. Really, really good. Thundercat, welcome to membership. Bound Underground. And Alexander Ritter. Oh, South Park VR game would be great, right? And Mr. Tash, you became a member. Thank you, dude. And genuinely, so I guess I'm always happy. Like this show is just every week. It is random, the conversation. Sometimes we will do a knockout voting on like the best pizza toppings, and then other weeks we've talked about like the Israel-Palestine conflict. Like it really is that. I mean, that's probably one of the best ways of explaining it in terms of like the breadth of topics that we do. But with what you do, and I feel a bit unfair bringing this up while you're here, because I kind of feel like we should just talk behind the scenes about it. But I'd love to have you come on, and like I think a good topic would be like creating the perfect gift or package, because like, dude, you're a master at that stuff, dude. It'd be good. But yeah, we should talk about it. And Mojo inspired. There we go. Kindness is courageous. You've heard it here. So yeah, and there are achievements in Horizon Worlds. There are, but like there are achievements for games, right? And they've kind of hidden them more, I believe. But I could be wrong. How come I don't ever win? I want to be on Miles's OnlyFans also. I think in the chat, people, doesn't it say like, don't you have to click a button to be kept in the pickings for it? Isn't that an option? I could be wrong. And yeah, absolutely, dude. It's absolute joy working with these guys. We're doing fun stuff together. It's really, really good. Cool. Well, listen, people, we are at the top of the hour. I want to say a massive thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Really, really appreciate it. I always feel good towards the ends of these. I say towards the end only because I sometimes come into them thinking, oh my goodness, how are we going to do this? But yeah, really, really appreciate it. So I want to say a massive thank you to everyone in the chat. I want to say a massive thank you to all of you who watch on replay. And just as a reminder, although I've not been live streaming any PSVR 2 games the past week, I will be live streaming Arcade Age tomorrow. I haven't decided on a time yet. To be honest, I need to create the thumbnail and everything. But I'm super hyped to play it. And I know many of you are excited to see me check it out. It's meant to be a fantastic game. And I can't wait to experience it for myself. So do hit the like button if you haven't already. There are, well, less than half of you watching right now have hit the like button. So please do hit the like button before you leave. I'd really, really appreciate you for that. And do subscribe and ring the bell to be notified of all future Myles Dyer lives every Wednesday at this time, unless I'm taking a day off like I did last week. Yeah, and I do PSVR 2 Let's Plays, live streaming every single PSVR 2 game out there. Still got a way to go, but we're definitely going to get there. And yeah, just remember, be kind to yourself. It's okay to say no. If it helps, just think about, by saying no, you're able to say yes to something else. That's the important thing. Because the more times you say yes, the more times you're going to have to say no to other things. Even if you're not having to utter the word, you are technically saying no. So it's an attention economy we're dealing with here, aren't we? So yeah, that's it from me. As always, we like to finish off with Vitamin G, which is where we like to think about what we are grateful for in life. Who are we grateful for? Could be a person, could be a place, could be an experience we've had. It's just always good just to think, and you don't have to share it in the chat, but I encourage you to. But for me, in terms of what I'm grateful for, I'm just going to put it out to all of you out there, because even though that sounds like a lazy start to the year, but I do really, really enjoy hosting these and having great conversations, and I think we learn a lot from each other. And this is what makes my Wednesdays absolutely wonderful. So yeah, my gratitude goes out to all of you. Please share your vitamin G's with me, and any other thoughts you've got on the topic of saying no today, or any other thoughts that come to mind. Because yeah, it's now time for your final thoughts. Thank you, everyone. Have a great week.
Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes. Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes. Thought I saw you on the road. I was chasing sunsets all alone. The darkness faded, painting goodbye big sky. Far away but dreaming of your ocean eyes.
What did you miss? What did you miss, Brian? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this now. What did Brian miss? This is awkward. We were going to end on a really nice high. Had a nice show. We did a lot. And then here he comes with, what did I miss? Nothing. That is the answer, people. You missed nothing. We learned to say no. Brian, how good are you at saying no? Yeah. Oh, man. I hope you're feeling better, Brian. Brian, him and I didn't do the show on Friday because he wasn't feeling great. I wasn't feeling great either. I obviously didn't do my show last Wednesday. So last week was definitely a week of taking time off and taking breaks. I hope you're feeling a lot better, dude. Looking forward to catching up soon. But yeah, thanks, everyone. This was cool. If you have ideas for topics of the show, head on over to my Discord, Empathy Arcade. Always up for suggestions, guest ideas, things like that. We both said no last week. We said no, we're not doing the show, and we definitely benefited for it. Cool. Got to shoot. Just a reminder, I'm going to be jumping on my quest in 25 minutes. Just going to catch up with some work stuff and play Party Versus. So if anyone wants to play that, Myles Dyer is my quest name. And yeah, I don't know how it's going to work, but I might be able to set up a public channel or something. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Really, really enjoying it. So yeah. And yeah, I bet Brian doesn't say no to Tornado. There are always exceptions to the rule. Have a good week, everyone. Much love.